that team that's coming in. Coach Herman, got a bunch of respect for him. He's done it at a high level, multiple places. He's in year 2 at Florida Atlantic. I know they'll bring in a challenge for us that we're going to have to be ready for. Also proud of kind of the captains we announced the other day. Those 5 guys I think will represent us well. They've been a huge part of as we're trying to build this culture and doing it together. Those 5 guys that stood out with a vote that was from their teammates. And 5 guys that we're proud of with Mav, Tanner, Jordan, Aiden, and Nate. So with that, again, I want to echo, looking forward to Friday night. Obviously my first experience, but counting on a crowd and fans and students that can really help us throughout the game. With that, I'll take some questions.
Jonathan, I wanted to expound on that. This is your first experience here on a game week. Students came in late last week. You can feel the buzz. I saw you at the band thing the other day, and you said you watch them outside your window. What does the buzz feel like now that students are here? Can you feel it?
You definitely can feel it. Definitely a little bit more traffic. It's a little bit slower getting around, or there's so many more cars, and it's fun. That's what's college athletics, college football, but college life in general. When you get back to school and see some familiar faces, and just the energy on the sidewalks, people going to classes, the event with the band and their energy, and they have been working. I mean, early morning till late night outside my office, and counting on them to help us out in this game.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned going back as far as January. I'm just curious, with just a few days left until kickoff, is there still a sense of urgency to get some things done, or is it like, hey, we're at this point where we got to get ready to just play?
Oh, yeah, well, there's still, the hay's not in the barn. There's a sense of urgency. You think about games, first games, right, the mechanics, call it substitutions, communication. We got some new pieces this year in college football with the tablets and the communication through the helmet, and so we're just always looking at that. I do feel like our work has gotten us to a good point that, yes, we got to go out and play, and then we got to learn kind of where we're at, and this thing's not a game of perfect, but we want to be prepared and put them through as many situations that we think could arise on a Friday night.
You talk so much about your team, obviously that is your priority, but from a personal standpoint, how are you feeling finally getting to game 1? Just from when you were announced to getting your family acclimated, yourself acclimated, are you feeling more excited or nervous?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely excited. I can have moments where my mind starts turning and you start, did we cover this? Are we ready for that on the football side? But again, you got to get to Friday night and let it rip. On the personal side, I feel like each month, the transition, we've gotten more and more comfortable. Again, I go back, I've been saying a lot, but feeling the welcoming with the kids in school, getting adjusted, making some friends, playing sports, the neighborhood we're in, all of that has been great.
Jonathan, you mentioned about the competition. How many spots do you feel right now solid with the 22 starters? And you'd mentioned previously about Montori. Are there any injuries that going in that might be an issue?
We do not have one that'll be issued season ending. We've got a few guys that, there's some bumps and bruises through the week. We're hopeful that we'll be pretty healthy come Friday. It's been competitive. We talk about 22 starters, which, we'll throw 22 guys out there. But I feel good that we're going to play multiple guys at some positions. Think about the defensive line. We're going to rotate through that. We've got guys that we feel 5, 6 guys could rotate in the interior of the D-line. Linebackers, same way. Well, yeah, 2 guys will start that, but you'll see more than just 2 in playing in the game. Receiver-wise, we will play more than 2 or 3 guys. Even in the tight end spot, with Velling, Parachek coming along here. Mola's had a great camp. Mike, you're going to see multiple guys there. I mean, shoot, you might even see more than just 5 throughout the game at O-line of a spot or 2 with what that's competition's gone. So, yeah, we're getting close to feeling like, these are the 22 to start the game, but it might be the second series in the first quarter. You're going to see some other guys.
Jonathan, I was wondering, is there anything you're most curious to see how it plays out on Friday night, like the biggest uncertainty, whatever the case may be, and just going forward in live action?
Yeah, definitely, game, live action, the mechanics of that. Talk about the communication and the personnel. We need to settle in and be great on that. Curious to find out the response from this team. And I talk about, I think, being, it's 14-0. Whether you're up or down, kind of how we respond and do that. I want to be a team that finishes games and plays well in the end of the fourth quarter. And so this will be our first opportunity in live action to kind of see that.
Jonathan, obviously Tommy has a lot more experience than Aiden did last year, but would you ever consider putting him in for a designated series to see what he could do?
Currently, we haven't. We got a ton of confidence in Tommy, but we have not had that thought or conversation to have a set series for him. We do feel confident if he gets in this game, he can operate.
When it comes, this is going to be obviously Aiden Chow's first time ever starting at the college level, and he's mentioned that he's just excited for the learning process of this season. How, as a coach, how do you feel that he's ready for this moment? And how do you plan to just kind of manage his confidence, when he does face adversity inevitably at some point?
Yeah, we talk about it. I think he's definitely ready for this. He's a competitive player, and true competitors understand it's not going to go perfect every snap, and things are going to take place. There's going to be some really good plays too, but there's nothing like experience. And the guy's been out on the field playing big time football before. Just hasn't been on the first snap, and so we'll be there for him to get him adjusted, and we're confident that in his preparation, in his instincts, and how competitive he is, that he'll give us a chance to score some points.
Coach, obviously with the 12-team playoff, that means more opportunity for the team. Teams can get in with 2, 3, maybe even 4 losses. I know it's only year one, but do you feel any more pressure to deliver in year one, considering there's so much more opportunity to compete for a national title?
I think it's a good thing that there's more opportunity for teams, 12 of them, to get in. I think there's always pressure in this job, this business. This is what big time college football is, and so you sign up for that, and you want to do that. You want to be playing in big games. You want to make it count when you're playing. You want people to have passion behind their school, the university, and the product that's out there, and that's what I've signed up for. And this staff and this team, we're looking forward to that challenge.
Established your reputation in a different conference on a different end of the country. What kind of a challenge is this for you to put your footprints in the sand here in the Midwest and in the Big Ten? And will you be more nervous Friday night than you've been in a while?
When the game kicks off, I'm not thinking a lot about establishing this and that. I think it generally go through the seniors when we want to establish identity in all 3 phases. Think about that a lot, and we're going to recruit to that identity. Want to recruit heavily in this Midwest, and we've talked about it inside out. I think we've made some real gains on that, and we've got momentum. But it's a day-to-day, constant process to do it. We want to, establish again a team that's going to play really hard for 60 minutes, if not more, and compete, snap in and snap out. Again, I'm going to be excited about it. I got some confidence in, again, our preparation, these coaches and things. Those guys got to go out and make plays. I'm going to absorb it early pregame, and then definitely try to get locked in.
Coach, 3 of your 5 captains were transfers. Do you think that says even more about the faith that their teammates have in them?
I think it does. The impression those guys have made in a short period of time. And again, I just think we've got a lot of influence throughout. And you could almost cut this roster in half of first-year players here at Michigan State, and then the other guys that have been here a while. And there's respect on really both sides coming together. This camp has been huge, I think, for establishing that this is the ultimate team game. We've got to do it together. We're going to need all 11 on every snap. And not just those 3, all 5 captains really represent that.
Jonathan, when you look at FAU, what's something or a couple things on each side of the ball that stands out to you that they do really well? And I don't know if this is a separate point, but is game one of a new job a sort of a unique game plan thing when you guys have been going against each other, and that's really your only barometer? You just don't know maybe what will be good on a game day against a different opponent? Is that a different wrinkle for these guys?
It's a little bit new. And, similar to every season, right? You think something's going to be good, or we've had some success, but it's definitely new, the uniqueness of, year one for us. Yeah, they're in their second year, and they've got some things established. They've got some returning players at the line of scrimmage, I think on both sides, that are pretty good, but they've got a bunch of new players as well, quarterback. We've got some tape at a previous university. That's a threat. He is athletic, competitive, can make plays. So that's someone that's got our attention, the quarterback's ability. And then, you look at their front 7. They got some veteran group there with some guys that have played, and then you throw in some additions of transfers. So we've got an idea of what it kind of looks like, but you're never totally certain until Friday.
And again, when it's week one, you haven't seen these teams, haven't seen FAU play just yet. How big of a challenge is it when you don't really have a whole lot of film to go off of this year?
Yeah, you don't try to chase ghosts because you don't have as much film as maybe you'd like. You got to be great in your foundation and knowing your rules, playing within the scheme and being able to adjust. Same thing, offense, defense, right? Defense, you don't know how they're going to line up. Offensively, you don't know how they're going to line up. I think about the communication again up front to get on the same page, trust your rules, and go out and play fast.
There's going to be a good amount of recruits in attendance at this game. What are you looking to showcase with this first event?
Well, obviously, a team that plays well together. On the recruiting side, whatever particular position we're talking about, putting those guys in the best positions possible. Try to recruit a big-time fan base and student section and energy in the place, and something that would draw them to say, you know what, I want to be playing ball here.
Hey, Jonathan, I was wondering, was there any kind of different vibe at practice today? Just being that it's now game week, and what's the sense you get from the guys that were here last year and maybe the fan base as far as what they're looking for this season with all the build-up and coming off a couple of years they'd probably like to forget?
Yeah, I think just on the practice end, these guys know it's coming, and we recreated a little bit last week what a game week practice plan would be like, and so now we're doing it for the second time. The attention, the focus is there. We're repeating some calls because this plan has been kind of solidified for a while. I think the energy, the focus, and the excitement as we're getting so much closer, you could feel that at practice.
I'm wondering about the other side of you mentioned about the ghosts of not chasing without having to film. What are the benefits maybe for you and your staff and program to not have anything really on display here?
Yeah, I think that there's probably some benefit. Obviously, both our coordinators, O&D, have a background of what that thing looks like. But I think every year, I said it to the team this morning, I think good coaching staffs always are adjusting to the talent that's on the current roster. And so year in and year out, you do some self-scouting and adjust and throw in some new wrinkles, and we're counting on seeing that from them, and then obviously ourselves.
With the helmet communication on the defensive side of the ball as time goes on, is it going to be more of a position-based decision or a player-based decision?
Yeah, well, we try to do it in the inside of the defense, so inside linebacker, and then them be able to make calls for us, so that'll be position, and then one or two guys will be ready to have it. I think about the logistics, special teams wise, right? You got linebackers oftentimes play special teams, so you want to stay away from the two green dots on the field, but linebacker for us inside of the defense.
Coach, Friday, when it's a late Friday night when we're sitting here with you, no matter what the scoreboard reads, for the fan base, for your team, for the media, how much does it being the first game play into that?
Yeah, I think you always learn in the first game. I know there's going to be some excitement, and then hopefully this, the game we're going to compete for like I say 60 minutes, and looking forward to then improving from game one to game two. However, this thing plays out, and that's a constant message you're going to hear, because this is a game of development. The best teams play their best ball at the end of the year, sticking to a process. So game one, we've got to learn a ton, compete for a while, and then go back to work the next day.
Coach, not to think too far ahead, but is there more weight on week one knowing that you have a Big Ten game week two?
Those things, the schedule is what it is. I don't know if it adds weight to the first game. We understand that we're right into Big Ten play in week two, but our entire focus has been on this first one. And I know this first one's going to be really important to kind of learn a ton about where we're at, what we got to clean up, because we're going to, be in league play 7 days later.
You had mentioned, right over here, you had mentioned that you're going to be playing, several different guys at certain positions and stuff, and I guess I'm just curious, how long do you think the filling out period is going to go for you? Is it going to be after week one you'll kind of reassess, or do you think it's going to be a filling out period for the first couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think kind of yes to both. We were going to reassess always every week, but a body of work over 2, 3, 4 weeks. I love the idea. I'd love to be doing it week 1 through 12 of rotating, having some depth. I think about the defensive side. We need these guys playing with great effort, flying to the ball, and there's going to be an occasion where they get a little tired, and they feel confident to say, you know what, give me a blow because my buddy's in the game and he can do it.
Jonathan, do you know Tom Herman personally, and what do you know about his teams from Ohio State, Houston, and Texas?
Yeah, I don't know him deeply personally. I've just got to respect, you look at the offensive side of the ball and what he's been able to do and the success he had at Houston, and really did some good things, I thought, at Texas, winning some games and bowl games and all of that, so I got a bunch of respect for him.
A little more on Childs. You've been a quarterback at the high major college football level. You know what it's like to go out there the first time as a starter. He does not know that yet. Do you get a sense for his personality how that's going to be, or you just don't know till the pin gets pulled?
You know, I think he'll settle in. You know, again, last year he knew he was going into games, and so just like a starting quarterback, you know you're going out there. He's just taking the first step. I think he's definitely going to have some nerves, excitement, just like everybody on the field's going to have. He'll be confident in these opening plays because he'll weigh in on what those plays are, and then he needs to just go let it rip. Thanks, guys.